Anti-Afro-Spengalis. Oh gosh, Umar Johnson is just, he doesn't quit. But that's okay because the process is underway to bring this to a grinding halt. Because we do have freight trains headed down the track. And before I go on and tell you what's happening, I wanted to introduce you to the reality that Umar Johnson is existing in, but he tries so hard to conceal what's really going on. He's being dishonest. He's not telling you what's happening, but he's, as you saw, making it very clear he plans to not comply with what the government is demanding. We have the civil trial, Umar Johnson, or excuse me, Don Murray versus Umar Johnson. What did everybody say? That this lawsuit would go nowhere. The court accepted Don's handwritten complaint. And what are we doing now? Umar thinks he can blow this off too. He failed to appear for a March 4th hearing. Umar failed to appear for a March 4th hearing. However, this case is moving forward. July 6, 2022 is the trial date for Murray versus Johnson. And what did we hear all these people saying? That nothing was going to happen. They were calling him all kinds of names. But let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what any condition someone has. It doesn't matter whether or not you like the person. The person has a right to file a claim. And it's ridiculous how Umar Johnson wanted to try to assert that Don was a volunteer. He was homeless and he was a volunteer. How many homeless people do you know will volunteer for something without expecting something in return? So it's no credibility that Umar has. And why is he failing to appear? What is going on with that? And I got a bombshell. Supposedly, he has one of his minions that's going to come in and testify. Oh, you wouldn't believe who this person is. How the hell does this, and it's not Tiffany Griffin, how the hell is this person going to know anything? And I got a little update on that. Just give me a couple of days and I'll be able to give you some details. But Umar has been pushing for shit against me. And I'm going to give you more detail on that. He is not an innocent bystander who forgot about what I'm doing and what we are doing. No, he has not. Umar is still actively targeting me. I'm going to be able to tell you at the right date and time. I'm not able to do it just yet, but he really is banking a lot on some things that he thinks is going to happen involving me. And it's not going to go down the way Umar Johnson expects. He's failing to appear in court. Not a good sign. Definitely not a good sign. Perhaps he was stuck in Pennsylvania and couldn't get a ride to Delaware because Umar remains a legal resident of Pennsylvania, which moves us to what is going on with the cease and desist letter. You heard sarcastic ass Umar Johnson running his mouth, making a mockery of the cease and desist letter. Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. Umar gets an opportunity to respond to the request, which means he needs to register and follow the instructions on the cease and desist. And let me clarify, this is a legal order. It's not just a letter. It's presented in letter form, but it is an order from a governmental entity, which he does not have the right to ignore or blow off. They are going to pursue this. If he fails to respond or fails to register, they are going to move to adjudication. If Umar Johnson does respond, they seek what's called a consent agreement. One thing about the consent agreement you have to keep in mind, there is a clause in the consent agreement that says this agreement basically, and I'm paraphrasing, doesn't prohibit the Department of State from engaging other agencies and reporting the information that they have. And the kicker is it applies to anybody who was associated with Umar Johnson in this fraud. So if you live in another state, they can still engage that state to address your role in this fraud. whoever you may be. So it's not just Umar Johnson. And they for sure have a way of finding out how much money, or a good estimate, Umar Johnson has collected. They get subpoenas, they have search warrants, they can use all of that. They have subpoena power. So he thinks he can blow off this cease and desist letter. It's just going to cause more legal problems because they can refer out. So even if you cooperate, they still can refer out. Now, what are the odds of them referring out to another agency if the person cooperates? Stands to reason there's less of a chance of them referring the case out to another law enforcement agency if the person cooperates and pays the fines, abides by whatever restrictions, follows the law, with submitting the paperwork in the future on time, aka in a timely manner. Umar Johnson's not interested in any of that. Umar Johnson is simply interested in the quick fix, getting the money quick, fast, and easy. This is how he has survived over the last how many years, people? You think Umar Johnson really wants to get up and get a freaking job like the vast majority of us? No, he has obtained free, easy, illegal money. And some people don't care whether the money you get is easy and legal or easy and illegal. He doesn't care as long as he gets the money. He has legal issues he needs to address. And if he doesn't address these issues, there is a very, very strong chance that this is going to morph over into the criminal court. Let's not even go there, but we just may have to, especially if Umar runs around here ignoring the orders and the demands for information from the Pennsylvania Department of State. And having the abandoned bomb shelter in Wilmington does not protect Umar. Umar is a legal resident of Pennsylvania. Bottom line, he lives in Pennsylvania. They have jurisdiction over this situation that Umar has created. And you had better believe they're not going to dry up and blow away. Umar is on a fast track to give some answers that the white man's demanding. You cannot go around ripping off white folks and you really think they're not going to do anything about it? Umar Johnson owes. He owes many entities in Pennsylvania, and they're simply going to put their heads together and eventually come up with, this is a case we really need to do something about. So of course, Umar, his resolution is to ignore everything. And he wants you to ignore everything and keep paying him money. That's what Umar Johnson wants you to do. Not even thinking about the fact that these individuals and these entities have access. He's talking about Zelle, that he has Zelle for donations. And he has, was it Cash App? And then he said PayPal. Oh, he's spreading it all around. But guess what? All of those electronic transactions are accessible, going all the way back to even before the Go Fraud You was taken down. Umar is in the moment. He cares about nothing other than you dipping into your pocket, pulling out the whatever debit card, doing an auto enrollment, whatever he can do to get money out of other people. That is how he survived the entire time he has been on YouTube. But this is coming to a fast and furious end. He has to answer, and he will answer. And we're going to be right there to report all of it to you. Umar is the one you really shouldn't be listening to with his snide remarks about the cease and desist. Meanwhile, he's begging for money on a daily basis. Why? Because he needs the money. That's why he's begging for the money. He needs the money to survive. Like I stated, he's not going to survive this. It will not be business as usual. And I will be making sure the information is delivered right on this channel. We knew this was going down, and there is going to be an outcome, not in Umar Johnson's favor, unless he cooperates. He's not going to prevail if he refuses to cooperate. They're going to nail Umar Johnson to all four walls and holding him accountable. You all know that there is much more to come. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.